So in this short video we're going to have a look at some revision on digital downloads data for Year 11 General Mathematics. First of all, we're going to have a look at what bits and bytes actually are. Well, computers work in binary, and that means that they do all of their work using zeros and ones. Here's an example of how a computer would store the word hello. This is the letter H, this is the letter E, L, and O. Every character, so that means every letter of the alphabet, and then things like commas, question marks, asterisks, numbers, they all have their own special code that's made up of 8 binary digits. Each binary digit is called a bit. So as you can see here, the letter H is 011010000. It's got 8 binary digits in it, and each one of these binary digits is called a bit. And as you can see, every character takes up 8 bits of storage, and we call each one of these a byte. So the word hello has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bytes of storage. So that's the first important piece of information. 1 byte is 8 bits. Now we're going to have a look at how we convert between different units of storage. The left-hand side of this table here appears on the HSC General Mathematics formula sheet, and it's in bytes. The right-hand side doesn't appear with the bits. However, you can see that the prefixes are the same: bit, kilobit, megabit, gigabit, and terabit. So on the formula sheet, you could just write this next to it. It's pretty useful to know that to convert going up in bytes, if we're moving from terabyte to gigabyte, we multiply by 1024, from gigabyte to megabyte by 1024, from megabyte to kilobyte by 1024, and the same again to convert to bytes. Whereas for bits, they're all in powers of 10, so each time we want to go up, we multiply by 1000 rather than 1024. And as we discussed before, to convert from bytes to bits, we multiply by 8. So when you get into your exam, the first useful thing you might do is to draw a little arrow up the table and write times 1024 on it, so that you'll know how to convert between the units. Obviously, if you're going down the table, you do the opposite, so you just divide. Okay, let's have a look at an example. So in the first example, we're going to convert 0.02 gigabytes to kilobytes. Now it's very important to note that there's a big B's here and here, so they're bytes we're talking about. Bytes always use a big capital B, whereas bits, they always use a little b. That's really important to remember. So it's pretty straightforward, this example. If we want to convert from gigabytes to kilobytes, well, we look at the table and we see we have to go up once, twice. So all I have to do is start with 0.02 and multiply it by 1024, and then by 1024 again, and that gives us an answer of 20,971.52, and so we've now converted it into kilobytes. In our next example, we're converting 25,000 bits into megabits. Now we can see they're bits because, again, we've got little b's here, and that stands for bits. So we're going to be looking at the right-hand side of the table here. Now, if we're converting from bits to megabits, we can see we've got to move down once, twice. And because we're going down, we need to divide by 1,000 twice. So all we'll do is we'll start with our 25,000. We'll divide it by 1,000. That would convert it into kilobits, and then of course if we divide it by 1,000 again, now we're in megabits. So that gives us an answer of 0.025. So our answer is 0.025 megabits. Okay, the next example is a little bit trickier because we're starting with something that's in bits and we're converting it to something that's in bytes. So we're starting out in gigabits. So here we are on the right hand side of the table. So first of all, we need to get it into bytes. We've always got to get it to the top of the table first. To do that, we've got to multiply it by 1,000 once, twice, 3 times. So we'll multiply it by 1,000 3 times. So that we have our answer in bits. Then once we're in bits, we need to convert it to bytes. So of course, to move over to this side of the table, well, we're going to have to divide it by 8. Okay, and now once we're in bytes, we need to get it into megabytes, which means we need to move down once, twice. So because we're moving down the table, we divide it by 1,024, and then by 1,024 again. And that gives us an answer of 238.42 megabytes. So that's that one, 238.42. Okay, in this example, we're going to go from megabytes into megabits. So once again, we need to get to the top of the table first and then across to the other side. So we're starting in megabytes, so we're going to go up once, twice. So we're going to start with 100. We're going to multiply it by 1,024, and then by 1,024 again. Now we're at the top, we're in bytes, we need to go across to bits. So we'll multiply it by 8. And then once we're in bits, to get it to megabits, we need to divide it by 1,000 twice. So we'll divide it by 1,000, and then we'll divide it by 1,000 again, and that'll give us an answer of 838.86 megabytes. Sorry, megabits. Well, I hope that helps with your conversions. Now it's time for you to try some.